solving about mathematics, how
Yeah.
I make a question for my student, how we apply mathematics to solve a problem in physics.
Fantastic, Mas. Fantastic. I cannot
But
imagine that your brain is full of the formulas and calculations, and yeah, I think maybe all of your activities can calculate by maths.
yes,
Amazing.
yeah, sometimes I am confused. Not only for my student, but I am also confused.
How come?
It's
Yes,
fun.
because physics in university is very different in school.
Correct, correct, correct. But you know,
All
Mas,
sub.
in the level of difficulties in Indonesia is the most difficult around the Asia.
Yes,
I was studied in Philippines before, and they just amazed that I can do the integral. I can
yes,
do the integral, and they are just amazed that I can do the integral, and then the formula of physics, which is the subject of the high school in Indonesia. And when I got like university there, my teacher, my lecturer was amazed. I got like bi- math for business, if I'm not taken,
yes,
basic math, and they are very amazed that I got integral, I got something like formula in Indonesia. They are amazed.
Integral.
yes, yes. I see.
Yeah,
Just it's called integral. Repeat after me. Integral. Integral.
integral, integral,
More
Uh,
integral,
than more than
Listen
integral.
carefully. Listen carefully. Integral. Integral.
integral,
No
Yes, in
two. There is no
mathematics.
integral,
two sound. It is schwa sound. T. T. Integral.
Integral.
Uh-huh.
integral,
Yes,
Oh,
integral,
just no two sound. No two sound. T. T sound.
T.
Integral. Integral.
integral,
integral.
Integral.
integral,
Okay, now
integral.
you got it. Now you got it.
Yes,
All
Okay,
right.
thank you, Miss.
Cool. Not at all. And I would like to welcome Basri Hassan. Welcome to the session. Can you introduce yourself, because I think this is your first time coming to my session, isn't it? Hassan? Hassan, are you with us? Okay, maybe he's not around, but he will connect hopefully. Guys, let's get down to business because we have a lot of things to do today.
yes,
Do I need to introduce myself or we're all set?
Yeah, all set, Miss.
Okay, then let's skip the part of introduction because we have lots of things to do. Believe me, we have to get down to business, and we have to talk about part two of IELTS speaking.
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen. We will
okay.
start talking. I hope you remember part one. Do you remember
Yes, of course.
part one? How many parts are there in IELTS speaking? All in all, in total, how many parts are there in IELTS speaking?
Three
Three
parts.
pounds.
Three
Three parts.
parts.
Very good. Okay, the first part is about
Personality.
personal questions, right? Familiar personal questions about you and things like this. Good. Like to talk about your job, your hobbies, and how long does it last? How long does the first part last?
Around
Uh,
5 minutes.
5 to 10 minutes, I think.
Oh, that's too many. The total exam takes like 12 minutes something.
Oh, okay.
Like it's just 3 to 4 minutes. 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay.
And how many questions approximately you will be asked?
5 questions, if not mistaken.
8 to 10. Like 8 to
Eight
10
to
questions.
ten.
Mhm. Yeah, so this is
Yeah.
part one. It's quite basic. I call it a warm-up part because an
Correct.
exam is just checking you how well you can understand his accent and just, you know, to get connected. Okay, it doesn't, an examiner doesn't test you harsh at that part, but the hard part starts when you're moving to part two, and it's really challenging. Welcome, Alpha. I think I remember you were present on my first session. Okay, so yes, and we are going just to remember what you know about part two. Do you remember anything about this part?
Yeah, part two actually is given a clue card, and we have to prepare in 1 minute, and we should speak in within 2 minutes after that.
Are you taking IELTS?
Already, Miss, already.
Are you passed it already? What was your
Not,
score?
not yet pass. I mean, not yet pass in my expected score. My score was 5.5. My expected score is like 6.
Okay. Yes. So actually, I hear you're speaking. You can score 6. I do believe just you need to know some strategies how to achieve this.
Okay, all right,
And
Miss.
Yes, yes.
and the level that I'm preparing my students for is 7 plus. So the level of is quite challenging. It may seem a little bit loaded. So let me know if it will if it's gonna be too hard for you. I will try to make it simpler, explain it, because I'm used to teach students and prepare them to score band 7 and above. Some of them
Yeah,
want
that's my
score
target actually.
7.5
Yeah.
or 8. So if you need me to, you know, kind of grade it and lower this a little bit down, just let me know, because some things I understand I give really tough, uh, tough questions and tough
Yeah,
discussions. Anyway, it's going to be helpful for you guys.
yeah. Actually, the minimum score for each proposed, I think, is 6, Miss. 6.0.
Usually, yes, on average, if you are applying for the universities or if you're applying for work permit
6.
or immigration, usually 6. Usually 6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
correct. So
Yeah.
actually, my purpose is to immigration purposes. So like, actually, they required 6 each band, and unfortunately, my score like overall 6, and speaking especially is 5.5, writing 5.5, reading 5.5, and listening 6.5. That was my score. It's taken last September 2021. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just six months, more or less 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I hope you will be able to upskill and advance your speaking and other skills as well. So you can do
Thank
it.
you.
You're
Thank you,
English
Miss.
citizen, you. So let's move on. In part one, so it's just a short summary. Part two, sorry, part two lasts for how many minutes? Yeah, you can just make a wild guess here.
9
Uh,
to 10,
5 to 10. Any ideas? Any other ideas?
10 to 15.
Oh, just part two. Come on, they are not going to, you know, investigate and interrogate you. They are not the police, you know. They are not going to uh,
Perhaps 2 to 3 minutes.
3 to 4, just three to
Three
four.
for four. Okay.
So that's not
Yes,
that
yes, yes.
challenging, guys. So part two tests your ability to talk about a topic in, develop your ideas about the topic and relevant vocabulary and grammar. Any ideas, or should I show and open it?
That's your ability to talk about the topic in any situation.
In situation, in details, in
In
details.
Oh,
details.
in
All right.
detail.
All right. So you need to be, since you are going to talk, it's called also a long term, you're going to talk for some time, you need to be able to open up, to develop your topic and talk in details. So the examiner will give you a cue card with written, what will be written in the cue card?
Statements and 3 questions. What?
With prompts, yes, questions or prompts.
Questions.
Cue card is your prompt card, where you see the questions and you can just follow them. They are your clue, they are your
Prompt, yes.
The examiner will ask you too about the topics and include the points that you can cover in your talk.
To prepare about the topics.
To talk about the topics and
right.
the points that you can cover in your talk. Topic is about an experience. Whose experience is it? Is it my experience? Your experience? Whose experience? Examiner's experience? You're going to talk about whose experience?
The
daily experience.
Whose? Sorry.
Daily experience.
Person.
Test taker. Personal.
Personal.
Experience.
Your experience. You will be given how many minutes to prepare your
1 minute.
Okay,
1 minute.
here we go. And you will be given a pencil and paper to make notes. And you shouldn't write on the task card, because this task card is going to be given to another student coming after you. You must talk for
1 to 2 minutes.
Right, 1 to 2 minutes about the topic. You can use your notes to help you. Then the examiner will ask you for more questions on the sample topic. We'll ask you.
Ask you 1 or 2 more questions.
Right, 1 or 2 more questions. Cool. Okay, we're all set. Now, let me accept there is someone, Havra is joining us. Cool. Okay, so we have, you can take a screenshot of, let me just open the answers. You can take a screenshot, guys, so you will see all the answers here if you need to get back to it. But this all information you can find online, of course.
Okay.
So fast to answer structure. That's an important point. So you know, there should be some structure when we are speaking and when we are writing. These are our productive skills. Speaking and writing are productive skills. That means that you produce the language. Reading and listening are receptive skills. So you either read someone's language and understand it, or you hear and listen to it and understand what is said. So they are receptive. You do not produce something. But writing and speaking are correlated because they are productive. And if you know the structure of your essays, that's going to help you in speaking as well, because we follow same patterns. For example, your essay usually starts with what? What do you usually start your essays with? When you
paraphrase the statement of the question.
Paraphrasing the statement, but what is this part called? What
Introduction.
Introduction. Then you move on to
the main body first.
The body parts, right? You move on to the body part and then
conclusions.
Conclusions. So likewise in writing an essay, in speaking we also have these 3 parts. At least in speaking part 2, you have to speak at length. It's like, imagine a mini essay that you need to write. Imagine it in your mind and follow that pattern, the essay pattern. So what you need to include, just we name it a little bit different in speaking. 4 words, which includes 1 to 2 sentences. Again, you see like in your writing, maybe in writing essay you can include 3 to 4 sentences, but here it's speaking, you don't need to exceed it, better not. Try to avoid cliche. What do I mean by cliche? Very often I hear students start their speaking with, I'd like to talk about my favorite gadget or something. Guys, this is so scholarly. It doesn't sound natural, and IELTS tests your ability to talk in natural pace and like a native speaker. So don't sound like a student. Sound like a human. In real life, you would never start your speech like that. So do not do it. What I suggest is at the beginning, you need to provide the setting. Tell what preceded the event and how it all started. So, for example, let me recall to mind, or recall in memory, or let me recall my last holiday. This is a good start. You will just kick it off with a really strong start because these are idioms and you need to use the idioms in your speech to score band 7 and above. Your aim is band 6, okay, you may just skip this, ignore it, but for band 7 and above you need to use idioms and some metaphors. When you can also say, when I was living in, because you see, you need to provide the setting. So when I was living in Amsterdam, this happened. Or I used to live in somewhere, something happened. I would always do this and that. So some kind of setting, you need to provide background information to what you're going to talk about. And also that helps you to introduce a variety of grammar, because that's one of the criteria you are going to be judged on. So was living, past continuous, used to live, past habit, I would always do, again, past habit. So it would introduce a range of your grammar. Then we're moving on to body or event. Since today we are talking about events, yeah, I asked you to describe an event, then you're going to talk about an event. Let's say describe an event that happened to you, blah, 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 or describe a festival in your country, or describe last time you talked to your family. So you're talking about an event. So tell a story. This should be extended, and it should take up to 85% of your speech. You should follow the questions in the cue card, but you can also reassemble them. So you can shift them, replace them, switch them, so just shape them the way you will sound better. So you should tell a story. It's a storytelling technique. So you should provide details of what, when, where, and how. And then you will move on to completion or conclusion. Again, 1 to 2 sentences. Don't make it long, just wrap it up, and that's it. So you should finish your story with any thought by saying why it's important for you or why you remember this story. And you can talk about future, about your feelings, associations with this story, general morality. You can say, looking back, I wouldn't do that again, for example. That's your general morality. And where you can find the ideas for it, of course, you can Google them, guys. There are lots of sample answers, but usually you can base your answer on your own experience. But if nothing comes up into your mind, remember a story that you read in a book or in a fairy tale, or you watched a film. So base your story on it. So if you can't come up with anything, because you need to be quick, you need to generate your ideas quickly. And actually, on Tuesday, I'm going to organize a workshop. May I mute some? I hear some background noise. I will mute the ones who are not muted. Let me check. If possible, okay, I think now it's fine. Okay. Yeah, for example, on Tuesday on the workshop, if you come, I kindly invite you. I'm going to talk about generating ideas, how quickly and effectively generate ideas, and we're going to practice it. So come, it will be at 6 o'clock, 10 p.m. in your time zone. Okay, how to structure your ideas logically. So a common story should answer 5 questions. Who, where, when, what, and why. So, who, when, and where are telling the forward. So they provide the setting. So an event happened, right? So you're asked to talk about an event. So you need to tell who this event happened to, when it happened, last year, 2 years back, recently, or where it happened. Let's say it happened to you in your country, or when you were traveling somewhere, or it happened to you on the street. So bear in mind, these 3 questions will always help you provide the forward, provide the setting. And then we are moving on to the body part, to an event part, and where you are giving details of what exactly happened. You are following the lines that I'm going to talk to you about later. And why will help you to make a completion. So like giving a morality, a general morality, what happened, what did you, how did you feel, and so on. So why this event is important for you. So this is a general structure. And I'm going to provide you a couple of strategies. I'll check the time if we have enough time to talk about it. We will continue on Monday lesson as well, if not, but I want you to practice a little bit today. So I will see if I exceed 7 minutes, then I will have to just stop myself there and provide the rest of the strategies on Monday. So, strategy number 1, you should use narrative tenses. So, what is narrative tenses? All past tenses that you know that help you tell a story. Past simple tense. So, to use past simple tense, you use it to show the sequence of events. Guys, do you know what it means, a sequence? Sequence.
Again and again.
Order.
Order. All right. Yes,
Mhm.
order.
Yeah. So firstly, secondly, etc. This is your order. So for example, he came in, then this is your sequence. Then we all started to laugh. We all started to do something. Okay. So this tense helps you to talk about the sequence of events. What happened at the beginning, what happened after, and after, and after. The next tense that you are going to use probably is past continuous tense. This tense helps you to provide details about the scene or to describe longer actions in the past. For example, the birds were singing, we were decorating the room. So you need to provide the atmosphere of what was happening at that moment. And the past continuous tense or progressive tense serves you best here. The next narrative tense that you probably would like to use is past perfect tense. It helps you to describe events happened before the action in the past. She opened up a present that I had bought, or I had heard about the event, so I decided to buy tickets for all of us. So I bought a ticket, but before I bought a ticket, I had heard about the event. So the process of hearing happened before, so it should be in past perfect. And we may also use the present tense to tell a joke or add some dramatic effect to the story. So, but most of the time, students misuse present tenses. So I recommend you to stick to past tenses, to narrative tenses, because I mean usually you can use present, but then it is like used to show as it's written to tell a joke or to just to add some dramatic effect, like I entered the let's say the club, and he says me, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then I respond, "Hey, what are you doing?" You know, like to show, to describe something happening, to describe what's happening, to so that it will be more picturesque, it will be more vivid to person to understand you, so that as if this person is at this moment over there. But most of the time, students misuse it. So I suggest you, if you are not band 7, better stick to past tenses, because you cannot control it at that time, at that band, at that level. Okay. And moreover, in part 2, actually, in IELTS speaking, you don't need to dramatize a lot. Usually, we don't use this tool to show a dramatism of a story. It's more neutral. You will not tell something like dramatic, or you will not tell a joke usually. So just ignore it, guys. It's not for you. This tool is not for you. Strategy 2, use sequencing words. Guys, there are different sequencing words. Some of them you use, and you have already learned for your essay parts, but I'm giving you the ones for speaking part. So the ones I'm giving you now, please do not use them in your written essays, okay, in your writing part. Because they are colloquial. Colloquial, they are more like for speaking. For example, to kick off, first of all, at or from the outset means from the beginning. Off the top of my head, off the cuff. You can sequence your ideas next, subsequently, after that, then, later on, at long last. At long last means finally, in the end. And don't forget to signal your main points like first, second, and third, so that it's easy to follow you. Sometimes students ignore it, and it's getting really hard to follow, especially if you're making some mistakes or you're mumbling sometimes. So it's really hard for the examiner to follow your train of thought. So this is a must to use. Do you need to comment on some of these words? Should I explain some of them?
Continue, please, Miss.
Okay. Strategy number 3. Use adjectives to make your story interesting. So there are some adjectives. There are lots of adjectives, of course, but some of them I'm going to give you today, just as an example. Some of them are positive and some of them are negative. Splendid means excellent, beautiful. Speaking, very good, excellent. Astonishing, amazing, gorgeous, fabulous, striking. So this event was striking. This event was gorgeous. This event was fabulous. And negative, atrocious. Atrocious means very bad. His behavior was atrocious. Abysmal. Abysmal also means very bad, but we don't use good and bad words in IELTS. We try to avoid them. The service was abysmal. I didn't leave a tip. Ghastly, beastly also means very bad, unpleasant. The weather was beastly. Absurd, silly or foolish. Preposterous, shocking or annoying. It's preposterous that she didn't even say hello. Or you can say a bore, which means boring. It was such a bore. So some of them you can just, from now on actually, you can just insert in your speech. Try to use them. Strategy number 4 for band 7 and above, and if you can use it, not even for band 7 and above, but if you can use it for band 6, it will be perfect, guys, if you're band 6 now. So use idioms or idiomatic expressions. And the easiest way to use them in your speech is by using positive or negative emotions, because guys, 100% during your IELTS test, you will be talking about your emotions. And part 2 is not an exception. Remember, you're telling a story, and at the end of the story, you need to make a conclusion. How you can make a conclusion? By telling your feelings and emotions. So, expressing them. So there are some idioms that will suit you best. A dreamland, a fairyland, an imagined and unrealistically ideal world. For example, this event was like a dreamland to me. Or that excited. I was that excited about attending that concert. So guys, excited, you know already. So add that excited, and here you are. It's an idiomatic expression that will give you some extra points in the exam. I forgot the whole world means you are deeply thinking about some facts. You can say, I forgot the whole world when I was at that concert. Pleased as sponge means to be very happy or satisfied. She was pleased as sponge on her birthday. And the last here for today, I mean the last positive emotion, be struck by the size of something or someone. So size is really big, for example. To be very impressed by or pleased with. So they were struck by the scenery. So it was, the scenery was really amazing. And some negative emotions. For example, down in the dumps means sad. We felt down in the dumps after what had happened. Or bent out of shape, upset or angry. We were bent out of shape as we didn't expect that would happen. The next one, lose one's cool, become visibly angry. We simply lost our cool right there. Then another one, make your blood boil means to be angry, to make someone angry. This event made my blood boil. Have had enough, to be annoyed. We have had it all enough. We decided to cancel the trip. Hang your head, to look ashamed. He is hanging his head because of what he did, so he did something shameful. Out of sorts, to be irritable. I felt out of sorts in the party. There were a lot of strangers. So there were a lot of strangers, and you didn't feel at ease. You feel discomfortable, irritable. On pins and needles means to be nervous. We are all on pins and needles about his decision, so we are expecting what will be the decision. We are nervous about it. Bored to death, bored to tears, to be bored. This lesson bored me to death. These are some negative emotions. Let me check the time. Yes, I think that we will finish up with this strategy. I have some more strategies, but I'll just provide you the checklist and we will get into practice, guys. And let me just, there are lots of idioms, so let me just share with you this link and go for and check it on your own. There are lots of idioms. I can't tell you all the idioms in a lesson, guys, but they will be really useful. Okay, use them. They are great. So yes, sure, you need to use some idioms. Yeah, and actually, the last, I think, strategy, I think, yeah, this is the last one. Intensifiers. Use some intensifiers. These are adverbs of degree that tell us about the intensity of something. So instead of saying very, use something else like extremely. For example, you shouldn't say very tall. You can say instead extremely tall or really tall, or significantly better, or considerably better, or slightly better, amazingly fast, amazingly smart, amazingly professional, amazingly comfortable, unexpectedly cheap, way too much. So use these intensifiers.
Is it can be used in writing also, Miss?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. I mean, look, way too much is colloquial one. I wouldn't suggest you to use way too much. But of course, as for intensifiers, you should use them in your writing as well. It will be great because they show how rich your language is.
So the rest is it can be used in writing,
Yeah,
except way too much.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
sure, sure. You can expect way too much because this one is colloquial.
Okay.
Colloquial, I mean, it's spoken.
Okay.
And let me provide you the checklist before we move on. The checklist that will help you to kind of organize everything in your mind. I've talked a lot, so you need to understand what we actually have covered today so far. So, firstly, you need to use narrative tenses, past simple, past continuous, past perfect. Secondly, you need to use adjectives and adverbs to make the story interesting. Let's say adjectives, I have provided you, like abysmal or spiffing, amazing. Adverbs, by adverbs I mean some intensifiers, extremely strong, but you shouldn't use them together with the adjectives I gave you, by the way, today, because abysmal already means very. If you say extremely abysmal, that is going to be a mistake, guys, because it's already really abysmal is already very bad, and you cannot say very, very bad. Okay, so be careful about that. If you use the abysmal, you shouldn't use intensifiers at the same time. Okay, so just bear it in mind. Use sequencing words. First of all, then after that, later on, finally, in the end. It was 4. Give your story an introduction. Say briefly what your story is about. 5. Give the background to your story. Say when and where it took place and what you were doing at that time. 6. Say what happened step by step. Use words like so, because, and although to connect the actions until you reach the end of the story. And 7. Finish your story or anecdote by saying why it's important to you or why you remember it. So if you follow all these steps, you will have a really strong answer. By the way, we can add here some idioms. Yeah? And we are going to move on to practice. And on Monday, I'm going to give you more time to practice. So we'll have like a workshop on Monday. Describe a family celebration you once attended. You should say where it took place, why it was held, how you felt about it, and explain why it was important to you. Should I give you my sample answer, or we can go straight and you're ready to give your answers? What do you think? Would you like to hear my sample answer?
Sample answer first, maybe.
Okay, let's go move on to sample answer 1. So I tried, and this is a real story, my story, and I tried to time myself. I set the timer, and it took me 1.5 minutes to speak. So if you want to time me now, you can, because remember, whatever you say should take at least 1.5 minutes. Okay, and it's even better if it passes that time. So, as you may see already, I used some past tenses here. So, in red, you can see the tenses. In blue, you can see some useful vocabulary. And purple, I think the words that help you to structure your ideas. Let me read it for you. So, well, I can recall one recent family gathering that really stuck into my mind. It was on my birthday, November the 7th last year. You know, it carries weight to me. Carries weight means important to me. for the reason that it was my first birthday celebration with my family after 9 years of my life abroad. Back then is also one way to not to sequence, but to talk about the time. Yeah, so when something happened, and it helps you to structure it. Back then, in my childhood and adolescence, we used to celebrate my birthdays at home. This time, we also decided to follow that old tradition. I didn't invite any friends. It was only me and my close-knit family. All day, we were preparing some meals hand in hand. We even baked a birthday cake. As we were about to start our dinner, as means like suddenly, the power went out and we had to light the candles. Yet, in this case, it means but, it didn't spoil anything. Instead, dim light added some intimacy into our evening. We were having our meals, chatting, and having a whale of time. Having a whale of time means to have a great fun, while waiting for an electrician to fix the short circuit. By the time he arrived and repaired the power, we had already finished our meal. It happened to be a reunion of the entire family after a long time. I hope in the future I will be able to celebrate my birthdays with my folks more often. So you can see that I used some connectors to connect my ideas. I used narrative tenses. I introduced some idioms like whale of time, carries weight, stuck into mind, a couple of more. So if I gave like this answer, or if you have given this answer, you get band 7 and above for sure. And this as for structure, actually I a little bit switched the structure a little bit. Have you noticed where? Have you noticed where I kind of shifted some parts? Where do we usually talk about why? In which part we usually talk about why?
The last part.
And where did I use this? Where did I give an answer why this event is important? In which part?
First part?
Yes. You see the shift. You can also use it, I mean, because, you know, it's a language. We do not have to always be strict about these rules. I give you the universal answer, the universal structure, but you can always be free to shift it a little bit. So if you want to start with explaining why, okay, feel free. No one will judge you about it. So I gave this example for you to feel a little bit also at ease, comfortable that this is a language and it's not that strict.
Yes, yes.
So let's get started then. Describe a family celebration you once attended. Let me see how many we are. We
Three.
are 3, not many. So yeah, I think we can just then go around the table, and starting with Franklin, we can give a response.
Okay. So could you share the clue card?
Okay, I can actually send it in chat, so you can
Chat.
watch it.
Okay.
Because, otherwise, I won't see you. I will see my screen again.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, please. And other students, Didik and who else? We have Muhammad. Muhammad and Didik, I would kindly ask you to listen to Franklin's answer and say, what do you think? Was it successful? If yes, why it was successful, or what would you change in his sample answer? Okay.
Yes. Okay, I will prepare first.
No, first, actually, I can give you some time, guys, to prepare. Okay, let me give you 1 minute. Start preparing, and then First will
Okay.
be Franklin, second Didik, and third Muhammad.
Okay.
So I would like Franklin to start. Didik, Muhammad, you need to stop taking notes now. I suggest you to listen because you can give feedback to Franklin and he will improve upon it. Franklin, I set 2 minutes. I will tell you if you could reach 2 minutes goal or not. You may start speaking now.
Well, what can I recall the family events is just last month. It was the 1st January, and the events is it's my grandma birthday. It's a big celebration for our family since the already 2 years ago that we never meet since the pandemic happened. So why it's important? Because at the day, in the same day, it's my grandma birthday. So the celebration is held in his house, and all over our family from outside the city came to his house. And in his house, we just celebrate celeb, her celebrations, her birthday, and it at the house there is a house of durian, and all of our uncle, my aunt, claim the durian tree, and we eat together the fruit of durian. It was so amazing, and I hope that celebrates the events can happen again in the next couple years, because my grandma is already single right now. He is because of the death of my grandpa.
Okay, actually, I can tell you, uh, you spoke for 1.5. Yeah, for 1.5 minutes. That's great. That's great. Perfect. You have just 30 seconds left. So I would like first to ask Didik, would you like to add something? I mean, would you like to comment on Franklin's speech? Any advice?
Okay, Miss. My turn.
No. Advice.
Oh,
Any comments to Franklin?
I think very clear, very perfect when I compare with me.
It was clear. Okay. What do you say about structure? Did he follow the right structure?
I think uh, I think the structure in past tense.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I
I think.
think
Mm-hmm.
the structure is correct.
Well, I think the structure was nice. So first, you used, if we check the checklist, you used narrative tenses. Yes, sometimes you switched you have some varied control of your tenses. Sometimes you say uh, you start sentence in the past and then you switch to present. For example, um, you said some sentence when we meet her, when we met. Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but there was a case when you started from the past and then you switched to present. You need to control it. So adjectives, I think you said amazing. So you kind of like the story, this event, and you tried to provide some adjectives there. As for sequencing, did you really use some sequencing words like first of all? I cannot recall.
No, actually, I forgot to use the sequence words.
All right, so check it. Okay, this is your checklist. You need to highlight it and make sure the next time you speak, you use sequencing words, because I also couldn't notice them. Give your story an introduction. Yes, you did it. You made the setting. You introduced it. You introduced the story. Give the background to your story. Yes, you gave the background. You said when, where happened, and what was happening, and what you were doing. Say what happened step by step. You said what happened step by step. I do not remember. Did you use some connectors like so, although?
No, not yet. So because
Okay.
although
This is also the your weakness, and you need to a point for improvement. I would say. Okay, let's not call it a weakness. Let's call it a point for improvement. And finish your story or anecdote by saying why it's important. I think you also pushed it to the beginning.
to the beginning, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. It was also okay. But at the end, you kind of said general morality, and that was nice. So you kind of referred to the future. You said that
Yes.
you wanted again in the future. That
Yes.
was a nice finishing point. So your answer was nice, clear. Just you need to focus on grammar and on connecting your ideas, sequencing them and connecting them.
Thank you, Miss.
You're welcome. Okay, the next one, Didik, you speak, and Muhammad and Franklin, please listen and give some ideas if you have, of course.
Okay, Miss, I will try.
Mm-hmm.
Let me retell again about one of my family celebration. The celebration was a wedding party for my elder brother happening in Tulungagung as Java, exactly in last year in 2020. Uh, the wedding party held in hotel because of pandemic COVID-19. We scared if we had sweeping from government, so we held the party in small hotel. In the time, I felt happy because I was afraid because my elder brother is elder than me. So my family afraid if he couldn't have kid. Fortunately, in the in the years, he has one kid, the son. So I feel happy, not only for me but all family, my parent, my sister feel happy too, because one of a goal for marriage is we get children. I think the celebration is important to me because distance between my hometown to Tulung Agung very far. We can reach the town around 7 hours.
That's all. They cannot. You will be stopped here because the examiner will not let you speak more than 2 minutes.
Okay,
Uh,
thank you, Miss.
so, Franklin or Muhammad, do you have any comments? How do you
Yeah,
find this answer?
some feedback for Mr. Didik that
Yes.
perhaps the please describe family celebration is it's about the events, not because like you said like the background of the child, the children. I think it's not connected with the topic. I mean, it will wasting your time to produce the good speech at this moment. There is no correlation between the events, and you said like it will. You said that this important because the meaning of marriage is uh, it it's uh, it's finding a seeds of or descendants. I think that statement is not relevant with the questions, so it will mess up your points there, and you miss also the conclusions, and it's not really clear the topics, and also the body itself is not focused to the questions. That's
Mhm.
from my feedback.
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay.
okay, thank you, me.
Well, I can partially agree. Yes, be careful when answering a question because sometimes you may go off topic and it can take you really far. Yeah, if you're describing an event, you should describe an event, not the kids. But you can provide some details, of course. The kids were dressing up. The kids were dressed up, or they were looking nice, blah blah blah. And that would be just one sentence, maybe would be enough because you want to create the atmosphere of the event happening. And following the structure, actually, you try to follow the structure as far as I have noticed, because you try to create the background information to that story, and at the end you said actually why this event is important. So you also finished up with your why, yeah, why you remember it. So the beginning and the first part, and then you try to provide the details. You also try to use narrative tenses. Well, as for adjectives and all in all, as for the vocabulary, you need to, of course, use a high order vocabulary because sometimes you said happy. I'm feeling happy. I provided you some examples of emotions. Yeah, instead of happy, we could use something else, the ones that I shared today. Which ones? Let me open it. You said it twice, so that's why I have to really point it.
Exaggerate, happy, exaggerate maybe.
You could say that excited. I felt that
Excited,
excited.
Yes, yes.
I
excited.
forgot the whole world. I was pleased as punch. I was struck. It was a dream world. Dreamland. It was like a dreamland to me. So you could use these emotions instead of saying just simply that you're happy. Yeah? And as for your grammar, yes, you have some points to work on as for your grammar because you're wobbly a little bit. You're not really sure about what grammar to use and how to connect your ideas and to um, how to build up sentences yet. You need to uplift it. So when you have to have a command, a strong command of language, but it's okay. It will come in time, I'm sure. Just you need to study with also grammar books. Okay, apart from this session, you need to study some grammar.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, I think also likewise, Franklin, you need to use some sequencing words. I didn't hear some examples of sequencing words and
Correct.
connectors. Where was it?
Connectors.
Yeah, so connect your ideas. This is, but you know, even students on band band 7, and band 7 they are struggling with connectors, so it's absolutely normal that you are struggling with them, because as far as I hear your answer, you are band, Didik, I think you are band 5 something. Franklin is tested already 5.5. So for that for that level, it's quite natural that you're struggling with connecting your
Yes,
ideas.
yes,
So just work on
yes.
it. Work on it. Start with some simple plain connectors, and then move on to more advanced ones. So to start sequencing your ideas, firstly, to kick off, uh, to begin with, and finally, yeah. So that's the easiest way to connect your ideas. So start with
Okay.
something easy.
Mm.
Simple. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, guys. We're just two. I think. I guess you're just two preparing for IELTS, and that's why some other students may be uh, preparing for something else, or just looking for general English, probably. Um, mhm. And on
Yes.
Monday we're going to have more like a workshop. So I
Can you
will.
make it earlier, Mice? Earlier. You make
Um,
in early time. Can
I
you?
see. I work till 4 o'clock on Monday, and I need to commute home. It will be 5 when I get home. So that's why I have. I'm a fully employed English teacher. I am committed. I'm affiliated to an institution, and I cannot take permission to go earlier. Yeah, my class
Okay.
finishes at
Okay, Miss.
around 4, and then I take a service bus and I go home, and it's the earliest that I can
Okay.
get home and have my computer turned on.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So may I know where
Miss,
do you live? In what country, Miss
I I
Allen?
I'm from Russia, but I live in Turkey.
Turkey.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Miss,
So
could I get the material PPT, PDF?
Sorry.
Could we get the material
In
PDF? I
PDF.
think, can you
Okay.
share PDF?
Okay, I will
PDF.
share with you. Yes, I can share with you.
Because this time, my first experience to study about IELTS.
I
Okay.
see.
I have no experience in IELTS.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
sure. Feel free to ask me any questions, and if I need to explain you something during the lesson, also just pause me and say, okay, could you please clarify this and that, or maybe something's too hard, as I mentioned, because
Mm.
I used to teach students band 7 and above. I mean, students
Okay.
are usually band
Okay.
6 plus, so I try to make them reach band 7 and above. So if something, if it's too hard, just let me know. I will just, you know, clear up half of what I have prepared and just make it more basic.
So Miss, do you
Okay.
have a class the same level with me, like band 5.5 or 5, want to reach like 7 and
Yes.
above?
Excuse me?
Do you have a class like my case wants to reach a band like 6 or 6.5, not 7? Do you?
This is actually the class that I'm doing.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
yeah. So yeah, for
Okay.
my students, for the students usually that the ones I'm used to, I have all materials set that I'm presenting to you now. But
Okay.
if you need to grade this, if you need me to grade this down to make it simpler, then I will just adjust it. The materials will be same. You need to follow the same structures. Just
I think the material is very good. Yeah, the material is
just
very good
the
enough.
language will maybe a little bit simpler. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
think the language is good, Miss, already. I mean, it's fit already with my needs. Yeah, I don't know with Mr. Didik, but with me it's already fit with my capabilities.
Cool, cool. Good to know that. Okay,
Yeah.
so just let me know, guys, if you want me to simplify it a bit. I will surely adapt it. As for the, of course, I have a course that is gonna launch in February, like next week. And if you'd like to have such kind of practices, more often join my course, and it will be also really nice because
Okay.
both practice and theory, two in one.
I
Really can.
think I DM you. I direct message to you in your Instagram, if I'm not mistaken, and you said the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was you.
Yeah, you
Oh,
remember.
I
You
remember.
remember, right?
Yes, now I remember. I have so many students writing me these days. I'm sorry because I'm launching a course.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, and as I'm launching new course, some students are texting me, how much is this? What is inside this course? Can you give some more details? And I mean, I have lots of things going on these days, so that's why
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sorry that